afternoon. Is it working? A little bit? So despite what it says in the program, I'd ask you to be seated. Bennett, I'm the interim minister here in this fantastic church, and I say that with a full heart. It's a very special place that you're all sitting in, and if you're a guest and not from around the neighborhood, we really, really welcome you. I used to be chaplain at the University of Connecticut and sort of quasi-chaplain at Richmond Academy and Brewster Academy, and I was a teacher and a principal and all that stuff, and taught anthro, psych, and soc. And I'm going to say to the seniors, way to go. Way to go. The journey is just beginning, and I'm going to run a metaphor through the prayers of this weekend for you, and hopefully to give us an image to carry. So in that regard, I want to start out by offering up a kind of non-traditional invocation, aimed especially for the seniors and the young folk. And I would invite them particularly, but everyone as well, to sort of close your eyes and gather a minute here, and snoring is not legal and it won't be that long anyway. But let's see if we can't create some pictures in our minds and our hearts. Let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks for the gifts of this day. We give a special walk, too, for the walking that everyone's done to get to this place. And God, we know you by many names and many spaces and many energies. Certainly we feel your presence as we in these past years have walked from one side of the street to the other, and seen the shining and glimmering of the hills in the near and the far distance. For a gift of Gould is to know that we look to the hills from whence our help comes. And we see those hills as we walk about. Some of us dance upon them. Some of us slide down them with all full speed. Some of us hike them and play them, and always, always we are surrounded by an incredible gift of life. And that is what we are about this day, this weekend, to celebrate, to give thanks for all who have walked before us, to give thanks for the walk which we embark upon this day, as one chapter of our life finishes and another begins to open and open and open. So God, we know you by many names and many spaces and many energies. We give thanks that you are among us this day, no matter how we see you or feel you or know you. This is a day of celebration for all who walk in life. Let's have a good time. Amen. June is an exciting and seasonal time for folks embarking on the edges of new learning situations. The season of baccalaureates and graduations and new starts and new life chapters of all kinds of shapes and colors of new beginnings. But then I guess I would have to tell the truth and say that I believe that each day is meant to be a graduation day. A new learning day, a new meeting day when we're called or invited to meet the energies of whatever is calling us to be, or to become, or to greet new and find out who we are in our becoming selves. I say to the seniors, who you are today is the foundation of what you will become later, if you are paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, good things will happen anyway, because we all know that life is about ups and downs and all around. So I come to you as a teacher and a preacher who stands before you knowing full well that some of you will be listening with open hearts, and others will be listening in more closed and distant ways, while others are still, no matter what our age and stage, are awaiting for that grace-filled strike of a new life spirit to enter us and fill us. So here's an opening little vignette to get your attention before a very short saying. There's a story of a monk who was asked to spend and speak at the morning devotional in the abbey, and the monk refused. Well, the abbot was taken aback, and he said, no, indeed, you will speak at the morning meeting. So the next morning, the monk went up, and he went in the front of the chapel, and he asked all the brothers present, he said, does anyone here know what I'm going to say? They all shook their heads no. He said, well, neither do I. And he walked out of the room. Well, that fried the abbot a little bit. The abbot told the monk that indeed he would speak at the morning devotional the next day. And again he walked up to the front of the chapel and he said, does anyone here know what I'm going to say? And this time, to encourage him, some of the brothers shook their heads yes. The monk said, well, then there's no reason for me to say it. And he walked out of the room. Well, you can imagine the good head teacher, abbot headmaster, was glowing. And he insisted that the monk indeed would be speaking at the next morning's devotional time. Once again he came and he asked the congregation, he said, does anyone here know what I'm going to say? Well, the brothers were all pretty confused in the last couple of days, and so some shook their heads no, some shook their heads yes, to encourage him, and the monk said, I see. Well, those of you who know, please tell the ones who don't. And he walked off the stage, and the abbot never asked him again. Lots of times it's hard for us to do what we're supposed to do, but he was doing what he had to do because it was part of his long walk. As a person, I've been through a lot of different kinds of miles. I'm 69, which means that if I'm not a geezer, I'm at least an apprentice geezer. My daughter reminds me of that regularly. She's a senior in college now. But I've worked in a steel mill, a paper mill, helped manufacture vending machines when you go and buy a Coke or a Pepsi or a milk. I was even once the manager of the new car preparation department. Washer and waxer. And it's been a goodly number of years since I've been doing different kinds of things, but in each of those phases, in each of those places, there's been some good walking about and some good learnings that have come along the way. So my question to you today, as a heart kind of person, as a person who really believes that each one of us is entirely a special person, I really believe that each one of us has in our own heart space a kernel that will glow and grow as we go through our lives. And my question is, how will you walk? How will you choose to walk? Will you walk bravely? Will you walk in fear and fear-filled during some hard times? Will you walk with faith and hope and creativity? Mostly, though, I hope you will walk and keep on walking and learning and living with creative compassion and spiritual generosity. Because I will say, as a member of the older generation, I don't think we've done such a good job in many ways. And I hope that you folks will right some of the errors and some of the selfishness and some of the bought and sold kinds of practices that exist in our world in these days. Creative compassion, spiritual generosity. Here's the message. The best story that I ever heard about gift giving has nothing to do about Christmas and everything to do about Christmas. It's a true story, I'm told, about an African boy who was a good student, who had one of those teachers that came from afar and fell in love with the community and stayed several years and taught in the school where he was privileged to go. And it came time for her to go home. And he wanted to give her a gift at the end of her tour of duty. As a child, as a very poor child, he had no money, he had no means, and when he wasn't in school, he really had very, very, very little. But just the day before his teacher was to leave, this young man brought her a huge seashell. And the teacher was astonished at its beauty. She had never seen of these before, but she had heard of them, and she found it to be just totally magnificent. The boy told her that there was only one spot where these shells could be found. And when he named the place, she said, "Isn't that in such and such bay? Isn't that 3 days walk away? How could you do that? This is gorgeous. This is wonderful. This is the gift of my life. It's one of a kind, but you shouldn't have gone that long, long, long way to get it for me." The young man's eyes brightened, filled up, and he answered, and he said, "Long walk, part of gift. Long walk, part of gift." And I submit to you today that if we added up the miles of walking of the ages and the stages of the people in this room, and if we multiplied all the gifts that you folks are surrounded by today, you have been given more than you can easily imagine. So my charge and my prayer today would be that you may have many long walks as part of your gifts, and that you may pay it forward and create a better world than lives right now. May you know blessing and courage and faith and spiritual generosity. Thank you for the privilege of sharing with you today.
Trustees, faculty, parents, and loved ones of the most awesome class of 2014. I am so super stoked to be your baccalaureate student. I promised Ms. Schifrin I wouldn't come up here and do anything foolish. But I didn't say anything about being loud and crazy. I was faced with a decision in my life, a decision that every one of you had to make as well. The decision to leave behind all that I knew, pack up my family, and come to Gould. What I found was an amazing school and community. I thank Parker Gray for reaching out to me and knowing that it would be a great fit. I feel a very special bond with the senior class. I am so honored you chose me to speak. It's very humbling. I'm not sure how you get from Dr. Clark to Coach Brucey in 1 year, but I certainly relate. The honor you have given me this afternoon is testament to the decision I made to bring my family here. It was the best move ever. Where else could my 3-year-old's daughter, best buddy, be JK? This senior class holds a special place in my heart, as it is the Gould beginning for my family and me. This is your end, your swan song. I know that most of you are way more than ready to break free and spread those wings, but take a minute today and tomorrow to thank the ones you love, the ones who helped you get here today, especially your parents and family. To the parents and loved ones, sitting here in front of me today is a great group of seniors. Hours and hours were spent studying in the classrooms, in the art rooms, on the sports fields, the science labs, on the mountains, the hours of intense music training, the countless theater lines memorized, 4 points, feeding farm animals on cold rainy days, formal meals, and so much more. These seniors have put in their time. And to the seniors, I've watched your dedication and hard work ethic carry you through the crazy schedule and expectations we all have of you as a staff and family. You all have special talents and are amazing people. Just please keep being you. The next phase of your life is awaiting you, and it starts tomorrow. You magically become adults. In the words of Dr. Seuss, oh, the places you will go. The friends you have made here at Gould will stay with you forever. Look around, seniors. These classmates will be some of your closest friends for life. When again will you be in such close quarters with people for 4 years? Living, working, playing, and only you know what else you did. I hung out with a great group of guys for 24/7 in high school, and I think of those guys all the time. And they're still teenagers when I think of them in my mind today. Time may keep moving on, but memories are still shows. Pictures hanging on the walls of our minds. I'd like to share 3 still shots from my mind that encompass this senior class. These pictures could have been of any senior, because I see them as a whole. I see them as one entity, the soul of the school, if you will. I feel these pictures show how the Gould senior spirit shines in my eyes. Here's the first picture. It's entitled Ode to Chile. Picture the Andes Mountains and summer ski training. One of our senior athletes was struggling with wicked knee pain. The source was unknown, the pain level high. He just kept plugging away at training despite his knees killing. Icing, stretching, repeat, day after day. One of the last double sessions, head coach Gray decides to set full-length slalom training and set up the Bates timing against the college boys. High intensity to say the least. And if you've never been to altitude, just try having lunch at 10,000 feet and let me know how your knees feel. This senior, despite knees broken, laid down the fastest run of the day. He beat all the college boys. His knees were junk, but I will always remember you beat those college boys. This taught me that Gould seniors, you don't give up, guys. My second picture is entitled Turkish Twist. Picture freshman orientation and mountain ranges in Maine. I was shown firsthand what the Gould family and seniors were truly capable of doing. One freshman boy from Turkey, let's say one that enjoyed sports, motorized sports that is, was way less than thrilled with hiking. He was super slow going and voicing his displeasure, politely if he knew Turkish. The faculty leaders were having concerns about him making it through the second day. That next day, a senior proctor stepped up and single-handedly took that student under his wing and got him to the finish line. The faculty did not have to ask, prod, or even engage either the proctor or the freshman the entire day. They did it as a team, peer leading peer. The leadership blew me away. I just still don't really know how we pulled that off. The compassion was incredible. The last picture is titled Decisions. Picture Oregon mountains and pounding sunshine. Two athletes were attempting one last race series, a chance to better their standings for the season. I will admit, I was very reluctant to go on this trip at first, but we ended up having the most amazing weather, and the boys skied very well. One scored 4 races in a row. It's like hitting a bunch of home runs. I traveled with 2 great seniors that made the trip. I believe I painted them some version of this picture from when I was their age. Sorry. My mother used to say to me, "You got nothing but good decisions." Not only did I not really get it, I hated it. For example, you got into 2 colleges, a major feat for me at the time, I understand. And either one's a good choice. Or, wow, 2 great job offers. Nothing but good decisions there. I needed somehow to make these decisions. Bit rebellious as a kid, I guess. I found a special way to make these decisions. I was given some special decision makers. They came from special people, from special times in my life, and I've carried these for over 20 years. Call them good luck charms if you wish. They led me to my coaching career and to work with a great group of seniors. I used them for some pretty big decisions in my life, and I turned out just fine. So do my friends of the Gould senior class of 2014. Can you guys stand up real quick? Spin around and look under your seats for the cushions. This one for all of you. Just picture old, crotchety Coach Johnston on the mountain of the fields. Pull out your coin and tell me the stories that you made and the good decisions. Can't wait to see you guys graduate tomorrow.
afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Connor. I'm a four-year senior living in Davidson. So leading up to this moment, I struggled pretty hard picking a topic to speak to you all about. The days began to roll by, and slowly the pressure of this speech began to build. The more this pressure built, the more I began to think about the insignificance of myself and the words I present to you this evening. Here's what I have come to understand. As humans, we have grown to make this world into a very complex place. We live like no other animal on the planet does, and as a result, often fail to see ourselves as we really are. We live with our minds in the future and focus primarily on ourselves as individuals. Due to this, it becomes extremely difficult to draw the line between what matters and what doesn't. Throughout my 4 years at Gould, I've certainly struggled at times to find the line of what has true significance in my life. However, as I reflect on my time here, the things that matter the most are not the personal goals I have achieved, the things I've learned about myself, or even being selected by my class to speak before you this evening. What matters the most are the friendships I've made throughout my 4 years here that I will take with me and hold on to for the rest of my life. What is important is the time spent with these people in front of me that I have grown to love. Enjoying their presence right where we are and not focusing on anything else. But the world is greater than just Gould. We live in a world that has existed approximately 5 billion years. And out of those 5 billion years, for 4 of them, I've had the opportunity to live and breathe and spend time with each of you. And now, as hard as it is to believe, this time together is beginning to come to an end. Tomorrow, we'll walk across the podium, receive our diplomas, and shortly afterwards, we'll pack up and go off our separate ways. And while I'll miss being together as a group, eating together outside, and soaking up the sun by the Adirondacks, I will look forward to the next time we meet again. I'll look forward to seeing where each of you go and who you become. I'll look forward to the years ahead, sitting around the bonfire to reunite as a group no differently than when we left years ago. But that's what's going to happen tomorrow. It's meaningless and irrelevant because right now we are here. We are here all together as one. We are free to enjoy the presence of one another and the way this group has changed each of us as individuals. What happens after this doesn't matter. It hasn't happened yet. It is somewhere in the future. It is irrelevant and meaningless. So here's something I'd like to share with you. Whatever happens down the road means nothing. The passions we pursue and the goals we achieve in the grand scheme are meaningless. To the universe, a human life is like the passing of a day. Whatever it is we do as humans in the big picture means nothing. So why be someplace you're not? Why worry about the next day and the struggles it will bring? The things we believe are important in our day-to-day lives mean nothing. Just like these words I'm speaking to you now and the diplomas we will receive tomorrow. They are nothing. They are soon to be forgotten about and remembered by nothing but pictures on a windowsill. So here's what I will leave you with. Live in the moment wherever you are. Hold on to those close to you and don't give any mind to what's going to happen next. I love all of you from the bottom of my heart and wish each and every one of you the best of luck.
So, Baggy's class for 2014 would like to present our class flag to Mr. Ruby.
So I'm over here.
And I'm going to
The class of 2014 dedicates this yearbook to Mr. Siegman because of his inspiring and caring person that he is and his unending happiness.
We want to thank you for always having a bright smile on your face no matter what challenges you're facing. Your always positive attitude is an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you for boosting the confidence of the students in need and having faith in everybody. Your dedication to your students' success and happiness is incredible.
It is amazing how you manage to make a difference in the lives of so many that are graced in your presence. Whether in class, ski and ride, polar bears, outing club, which is the best, or on these weekend trips.
Your positive, accepting personality is something we and many others will take on with us for the rest of our lives. And please know that you really have made a difference, and we extend our greatest thanks to you.
We'll miss seeing you every single day, and you have made a big impact on all of our lives, and you have the most positive outlook on life, so just thank you.
Thank you.
You have to love life a lot. Every learning opportunity has a thesis and an antithesis. We've had some of that today for sure. Now is forever. Now means nothing. Then is when. Why is a cop? I don't know. Very Zen compliments we gave from a congregational minister and a future theologian. I appreciate the depth and range of these things. Some of you know what this is. It's a Fitbit. If you've heard of Fitbit, raise your hand. Pretty good, pretty good. Now I noticed that most folks well over 40 know what the Fitbit is. My daughter gives me a lot of grief on that. My goal is to walk 10,000 steps a day and to try to be mindful in those steps so that the moment does have an impact that gets me to the next day, which gets me to your next day. Tomorrow is a big day. It's bigger than you imagine today. And when you get to be a golden oldie moldy like myself, you'll remember it as a big day. Because tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life. And so is the day after that. Because you walk, because you move, because you have your being, because there's a richness in your soul that's evolving, changing, growing, and weathering. So when you go across this stage tomorrow, be proud. Be proud of who you've been and where you've been and where you're going, and have faith that the courage of all the moments that you're going to face will bring you to the next one. So I would say to seniors, stand up. Dear Lord, we know you by many names, by many places, by many circumstances. We would ask a blessing on this group. May the fire of your lives burn. May the hope of your hearts find flower. May the courage, which is yet to be undiscovered, yet to be discovered in you, be a lesson to those who live around you so that you may show the way. May you go well and stay well as a spiritually generous people, counting your steps as you go and giving thanks. Bless your Lord. Well done. Let's give yourselves a round of applause.